There are total 14 million taxpayers in Australia, out of which over 8 million people don't do their taxes on their own, but they go to a tax agent to file their taxes. Why do so many people go to an expert?
Because we are dealing with this on a daily basis, we encounter a lot of tax returns which need a lot of assistance.
India में one thing that I had heard was कि जितना भी हम कमाते हैं, 1/3 we just have to give to the government. How different it is from Australia?
India में the maximum tax that you pay is 37%. Comparing it to Australia, यहाँ पे the maximum tax that you pay is 45%.
What are some of the common mistakes you have seen people do when it comes to taxation?
First of all,
What's up, people? Welcome back to the NRI Podcast. It's July 2025, and that means everybody is talking about their tax. And when it comes to tax, I know nothing, right? So I always call up a friend or somebody who is a tax agent or a CPA and understand how to do my taxes. And that's why we wanted to create a podcast which becomes a masterclass for you to understand how Australian taxation system works, what you should do with your taxes, what are the general deductions, and if you can utilize those in order not to pay the tax that you can save. So that's why I'm sitting down with a friend of mine. His name is Nirmit. He is a CPA in Australia and he's going to enlighten us about taxes in Australia. So thanks for doing this, dude. I am very excited, primarily to save some money.
thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, let's start from tax brackets, right? So India में while I was growing up, one thing that I had heard was कि जितना भी हम कमाते हैं, 1/3 we just have to give to the government. So whether it's 33% or 35% or something. How different it is from Australia?
So India में, of course, there was a tax system which was simplified at later stages in the later years.
Okay,
And वहाँ पे the maximum tax that you pay is 37%.
right.
Comparing it to Australia, यहाँ पे the maximum tax that you pay is 45%,
Wow, okay.
which is slightly higher, but because of the cost of living, quality of
Yeah.
life that you get in Australia,
Yeah.
it is higher. And looking at the slab rates, the more income that you have,
Yeah.
the highest tax rate you are going to be paying. So it's a
Okay.
progressive tax system.
Got it. So Australia is also a progressive tax rate system,
Yeah.
which means that till certain amount you don't have to pay tax,
Yeah,
and after that you have to pay more and more tax.
More and more, correct.
So can you explain more about Australian tax slabs?
So the tax slabs here work as first 18,200. You don't have to pay any tax on your income.
Okay.
From 18,201 up until 45,000, there is flat 16% tax rate.
Got it.
From 45,000 up until 135,000, you pay 4,288 plus 30%.
Okay.
Then 135,000 to 190,000, you pay 31,288 plus 37%.
Got it.
And if it is above 190K, you pay 51,638 plus 45%.
Okay, so for example, let's talk more about international students or recent migrants who have come here, right?
Right.
There are very, very few people who come here or directly 190,000 की job लग जाती है,
बिल्कुल.
right? Let's take an example that how much tax a normal international student will have to pay if they're working, let's say 20 hours in a week, or they're making $25 an hour.
Okay.
अगर इतना
let's do
कमा
the
रहे हैं,
maths.
yeah, let's do that.
So you said $25 and working 20 hours, that's $500
a week.
And
Right.
then we have 52 weeks, so
Yeah.
26,000 in a year.
Got it.
So for 26,000, first 18,200 will be exempt. So
Okay.
that leaves us with $7,800.
Okay.
Now with 7,800, we have 16% tax, which comes out to be $1,248.
Got
And
it.
then on top of that, we pay 2% Medicare and 1% surcharge.
Okay.
So that comes out to $1,285.
So international students also have to pay Medicare and Medicare levy surcharge?
Yeah. So Medicare and Medicare levy surcharge depends on different circumstances. अगर कोई international student बाहर से आया है, then they will be either on a student visa or a temporary residence in most of the cases, unless you come on a PR visa.
Got it.
And Medicare is a service that Government of Australia provides to the PR holders and the citizens, which covers their medical cost up to a certain amount or totally covering it.
Okay.
And the way how they cover this cost is by imposing 2% on your taxable income as Medicare levy and 1% as surcharge on top of that. So that's
Got it.
total 3%.
Okay.
But international students on subclass 500 or 485 don't have to pay that 2%. They just need to notify the government that they are actually temporary residents and
Also
they don't
because,
have access.
Yeah, students have their own insurance.
Yes, they
So
have
we are
their
paying
own
for
insurance.
that insurance.
Yes,
And that's why we don't have to pay the 2%
Yeah,
extra.
extra, correct.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. So again, right, international students and then people become temporary graduates. They make around like $100,000, or let's say like if they have a decent job, they're going to make around $120,000, right? So in this case, what are some of the common mistakes you have seen people do when it comes to taxation?
I think the three common mistakes that I have encountered in a lot of people's tax returns is that, first of all, people don't register their TFN with their bank accounts,
Okay.
which results in banks withholding some tax from the interest income that they earn.
Okay.
So every student should register their TFN with their banks so that they get their whole interest income into their bank account.
Got it.
Second point I would like to highlight is the superannuation.
Okay.
सो सुपर एनुएशन इज जस्ट लाइक पेंशन, जहाँ पे हमें इंडिया में पेंशन आती थी, वही कंसेप्ट है सुपर का भी. एंड सुपर में यू एक्यूमुलेट अ लॉट ऑफ फंड्स as you grow in a company.
Yeah.
And super is fixed at 12% for this financial year.
Got it.
Super में what happens is people tend to change jobs and they don't realize that super वही रहना चाहिए. सेम एज बैंक अकाउंट. बैंक अकाउंट एक रहना चाहिए, वैसे ही सुपर भी एक रहना चाहिए.
Okay.
अगर आप ज़्यादा सुपर accounts khologe, then you end up paying more fees because every super charges a certain fee.
Yeah.
And then you have to decide which super you want to open up and invest in as well. Like the super invests in different kind of investments like gold or mutual funds or something like fossil fuels, environment conservation. So you decide which category you want to choose. And the third one would be, I think, hiring a tax agent or an expert, taking an advice from an expert, because we as a CPA know a lot of deductions that the normal public would not know. And we know how to work around those deductions in order to maximize your taxation system and get least tax payable or more refund.
Got it. Okay. I want to highlight more on super. So for the people who don't know what super is, can you just explain in layman term, why do we have to pay super every time our salary comes?
So super is always on top of your salary. Suppose someone has an income of $50,000.
Okay.
They will have an offer letter saying $50,000 plus 12% super.
Okay.
So super is always something that you earn on top of your income. And very similar to India. India maybe you get a certain amount of salary and then you get your pension or gratuity, whatever you accumulate throughout your job ka phase.
Got it.
Same way here, super you can't access until you reach a preservation age, which is 60 over here. Once you reach that age, you can start accessing super.
So जितना भी तब तक super accumulate हुआ है, at 60 you get that super.
You start getting that super. You won't get everything at the same time.
Okay.
But you get, similar to job, how you get fortnightly wages or weekly wages, you can start getting fortnightly superannuation into your account.
Okay. And there are these companies which are superannuation companies.
Yes.
Right. So my employer will have a contract with superannuation company. Is that right?
No. So the superannuation companies work independently, very similar to banks.
Okay.
How there are different independent banks, same way we have different independent superannuation companies.
Okay.
So you go to a bank, open a bank account, you go to a superannuation agency and open a superannuation account with them.
Got it. And then whatever money that is on top of my salary goes to my super account.
Yes. Correct.
Which I cannot take out. It just stays there. That's what the law in Australia is.
Correct. Only if there is a possibility that you might be going back to your home country, say India, forever and you're still on temporary residency, you can ask or request ATO to release the superannuation without imposing any taxation.
Okay.
But in very limited circumstances, they will be approving those requests.
Okay, understood. So I get my salary, on top of which I get super, and then I have to pay my taxes. Is that right? And a lot of times what happens is that all the jobs that I've had, they deduct my tax and then I get my salary.
Yes.
Right. So
that's
can you
correct.
just explain how the tax return works? Because how do they deduct my tax even before they know how much I'm going to earn in the whole year?
So your offer letter usually states your annual income,
Okay.
and based on that annual income, you fall into a specific slab rate.
Got it.
So वो slab rate को देखते हैं and उसके हिसाब से आपका tax deduct होना start हो जाता है.
Okay.
जैसे ही आपकी first pay या second pay आएगी, you will see कि if a lot of tax is being deducted, you might have unticked tax-free threshold, which is very important while signing up for a new employer. That you
Got it.
you want to claim tax-free threshold.
Okay.
That means that first 18,200 जिसकी हमने बात की, वो benefit आपको मिलेगा. So you don't pay tax on full 50,000 की income.
Okay.
It reduces by 18,200. जो उसके ऊपर बचा है, उसके ऊपर tax कटना start होगा. And वो पूरा tax जो आपने साल में pay किया है, that comes into your tax return.
Okay.
So जब tax return lodgement का time आता है, we can see कि आपकी इतनी income हुई थी compared to your taxation, and is it the same level that you should be at, or do we have to make some adjustments, like there might be some business income, some transactions for your shares, then we have work deductions, and then we have Medicare as well. So उसके बाद आपका taxable income की calculation होती है, and then you get to know if you are having a refund or a payable amount.
I've heard a lot of people have something called Australian business number, right? जो लोग freelancing करते हैं या Uber चलाते हैं या कुछ भी. So can you tell me more about what is this ABN, Australian business number, and why is it important to get?
So ABN is a Australian business number that everyone needs here who wants to run their own business.
Okay.
Business could be anything from your freelance job to your cleaning, to your Uber, to any delivery or cab work that you want to do over here. And that specific number is allotted to you because you want to run that business. And then once you start earning on that ABN number, you need to file the taxes on that income as well. Now, because TFN may you already pay the taxes when you are employed with the employer. In ABN, because you are self-employed, you are the one responsible who is going to be paying the taxes. So that needs to form part of your tax return as well.
Got it. Okay. So अगर जैसे as we talked about cab, cleaning services करते हैं या फिर security का काम करते हैं, TFN is usually with the employer, right? कि मैं इतने week में इतने घंटे काम कर रहा हूँ और उतनी मुझे salary मिल रही है.
Correct.
ABN is more like contract work.
Right.
कि मुझे ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिला है, अभी मैं कर रहा हूँ,
Contract
पर ऐसा नहीं है कि इतने घंटे हर वीक के हो गए. एंड देन दे गिव मी होल अमाउंट.
Yes.
और उसके ऊपर मैं टैक्स भरता हूँ.
Tax per yes. Correct.
ओके, perfect, understood. People file their taxes on their own as well, right?
Correct.
So how does that work?
So initially when you come to Australia, the first thing is कि MyGov करके एक फेडरल ऑस्ट्रेलिया का वेबसाइट है which caters to a lot of services. So one of the service is Australian Taxation Office, ATO. So MyGov पे you need to create an account and ATO को link करना होता है MyGov के साथ.
Okay.
So ATO is just one service. The other services that you might encounter in future would be Medicare, work cover, USI,
Okay.
vaccinations that you take over here. So everything gets linked to MyGov. ATO link करने के लिए you need to have some details like your bank account details, your superannuation details, and enter it over there. If everything goes well, तो वो link हो जाएगा. If it doesn't, then you need to give a call to ATO and ask them for a linking code, which is like a 10-digit code, and write down that number and enter it in or give it to a CPA who can assist you in linking your ATO with MyGov account, and then you can start with the tax return preparation.
Okay. So I've read this stat somewhere that there are total 14 million taxpayers in Australia.
Mhm.
out of which over 8 million people don't do their taxes on their own, but they go to a tax agent or a CPA or whoever, an expert, to file their taxes.
Correct.
Why do so many people go to an expert?
So as a CPA, I would say ki we have the knowledge of how the taxation system works because we are dealing with this every day on a daily basis. We encounter a lot of tax returns which need a lot of assistance, like with their ABN income, with the share transactions that they are doing, having dividend income, and ultimately the deductions, which is like very important part of your tax return, as well as Medicare, because again, Medicare is something that a lot of people don't understand, and a CPA or a tax agent can put a lot of emphasis on how these things work and explain to the client.
Okay, so you talked about deductions, right? What are these deductions?
So, some deductions that can be used are, first of all, we can talk about the car expenses.
Mhm.
So, anything that is related to your work is actually tax deductible.
Okay.
So, car expenses doesn't mean that you can claim a portion of going from home to work.
Okay.
It's basically if you're traveling for work to a client's place, or if you're traveling between two jobs from one place to another place, you can claim a proportion amount of that.
Okay.
And that can be divided into two parts. If you have actual receipts,
Yeah.
then you can use an actual method, or else a cents per kilometer method is used, which is like 88 cents for each kilometer that you have driven.
Okay.
Then we have something called as self-education expenses, which includes expenses such as your certificate course or RSA course, which a lot of people would be doing for getting like a food and beverage attendant kind of job. Uh, any certificate or first aid courses. So those can form part of your tax return deduction as well.
Okay.
Then we have clothing expenses, something which is known as protective or occupation specific clothing is tax deductible as well, because if a company asks you for wearing those kind of clothes and they don't reimburse you, you can put it in your tax return. Then we have other work related expenses, which involves work from home expenses,
Okay.
which is like a major portion, because you can claim a proportion of your electricity, your Wi-Fi, your mobile phone, even a particular portion of your rent if you qualify for that type of dwelling
Okay.
that you stay in. And then, of course, we have some dividend deductions, interest deductions, cost of managing tax affairs that you pay to a tax agent or a CPA. So these are some deductions that can be included in your tax return.
Right. So what you're saying is, so for example, जैसे मैं किसी tax agent के पास जाता हूँ and they charge me whatever like $100, right? So next जो होगा उसमें $100 deduct, like that is what my expense would be.
Yes.
और वो मेरी annual income में से deduct हो जाएगा.
डिडक्ट हो जाएगा. सो आपकी टैक्सेबल इनकम इन्हीं डिडक्शंस की वजह से रिड्यूस होती है.
Okay.
Whatever you have put in deductions is going to reduce your taxable income, but the tax that you have already paid remains as it is. So उसके बाद हमें पता चलता है कि हमारा पेबल आएगा या रिफंड आएगा.
Got it.
क्योंकि आपकी टैक्सेबल इनकम कम हो गई, टैक्स आपने उतना ही पे किया हुआ है, तो अब आपको पता चलेगा कि आपने जो टैक्स पे किया है वो ज्यादा पे किया हुआ है आपकी इनकम के हिसाब से, या आपने कम पे किया हुआ है.
Okay. Understood. वही वाला एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं, right? International student. Okay. Let's say they are working in hospitality, right? Because hospitality mein they have to wear certain kind of clothes or whatever.
Right.
So somebody who's working in hospitality, what are general deductions that they could claim?
For hospitality, the deductions that I've encountered is majorly RSA का expense, responsible server of alcohol का certification course करना पड़ता है, and it costs around $150.
Okay.
So वो straight away deduction बन सकता है.
Okay.
Then there would be some clothing expenses in which you have to wear a specific uniform.
Yeah.
Say $200 for like 2 shirts. So वो एक deduction हो सकता है. Hospitality में you don't get work from home, so that is gone.
We can't do that.
Yeah. And अगर if someone has a hospitality job as well as another full-time job, तो वो एक job से दूसरे job के बीच में जो travel कर रहे हैं, that can be claimed in car expenses as well.
Interesting.
And whatever they have paid their tax agent or CPA
Hmm.
that can be claimed as well in the next financial year.
Interesting. Okay. Have you seen some examples जिसमें किसी ने कुछ बहुत ही ज़्यादा ऐसे tax, deduct करने का try किया हो या this has gone wrong? Have you seen that?
I can share an example of a person who got deported because of this.
Whoa, okay.
So, because that person was trying to be over smart and उसको लगता था कि कुछ भी claim कर लो, ऐसा
हाँ.
कुछ होगा नहीं. But in the recent times, ATO is now connected to Department of Home Affairs,
Mm-hmm.
and your tax return is gonna be uh, managed while you are at immigration as well. They can review your tax returns and they can stop you at the border as well.
Mm-hmm.
So ये ऐसी चीज थी जो उसको नहीं आइडिया होगा,
Hmm.
and he tried to overclaim a lot of things,
Hmm.
put in a lot of deductions, जिसकी वजह से उसका tax return audit में गया, and he did not use any tax agent. जब वो audit में गया, he did not have any answers, and because of that, his visa got
So-
cancelled and he was deported within
Oh,
a
wow.
week.
Dude, that is extreme.
Yeah, and just उसके लिए you are trying to save like $2,000 या $3,000,
Yeah.
and पूरा visa की cost, insurance cost, and
Yeah.
you God knows whatever you have lost over here,
Yeah.
your
पूरी life का
experience
issue हो
as
गया ना?
well, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that is crazy.
and you get blacklisted from a country.
Talking about your experience, right? You have helped people with their taxes as well. So again, I want to dive into this because, as I said, like, now I'm thinking that probably I should have used or I should have dived more into my accounting and stuff, but I've never, like, itna deep में कभी मैं गया ही नहीं हूँ.
Yeah.
Right? So have you come across any other mistakes that people do, या फिर any other advices that you have for people to stay on top of their accounting game?
I think the major part is कि tax agent को hire करना could look like an expense, but don't treat it as an expense, क्योंकि अगर आपको लग रहा है कि आप $60-70 या जितना भी आपका टैक्स एजेंट या CPA चार्ज कर रहा है वो चार्ज करेगा, and you are gonna lose that money, but he can actually try to fix your tax return in a compliant way जो legally compliant है. हो सकता है आपको लग रहा है कि आप बहुत अच्छे तरीके से टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल कर रहे हैं, बट देयर माइट बी सम मिस्टेक्स दैट यू आर डूइंग एंड यू डोंट नो अबाउट दोज मिस्टेक्स. एंड अगेन अगर ऑडिट हुआ, you don't know कि क्या हो सकता है. You can be fined, you can be your visa can be cancelled, but just try to see if you can ask an expert for assistance in your tax return.
Got it. What we are going to do is that we are going to give a link in the description below. So in case if you want to get in touch with Nirmit, or you want to get in touch and need help with your taxes, then please fill out the form that is given in the description below, and somebody with the team will reach out to you and help you out. If you have any questions, you can always leave it in the comments, or just ask so that we can get Nirmit again on the podcast and cover all the questions that you guys have asked in the comments. Before we end, you have come here as an international student, right? You have been here for a few years. You have sorted your permanent residency and everything, right? If you could look back and you had to give some advice to people who are just new to the country or planning to come abroad, what would that be?
I think the basic advice that I would be giving is do your homework before leaving the country, and make sure that you have plans of what you're going to be doing in Australia and how you're going to be supporting yourself. Because if you think कि यहाँ आके देख लेंगे, that will be very late. So do your homework before leaving the country and see how you want to manage your expenses, because it's very difficult to manage everything from your laundry to your cooking skills to your education. It's very difficult to manage everything. So think twice before leaving the country.
And be prepared.
Be prepared for anything.
Yeah. Dude, love this. Thank you so much for doing this. Again,
you.
if you guys have any questions, write it in the comments and we'll get Nirmit again to answer all those questions. But thanks for taking the time out and giving us a masterclass on Australian taxation.
Thank you.